Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome to another session of our laboratory work. Today, we are going to see how our heart works independently. We call it automatism of the heart. That's isolation of the heart, okay? And then see how it works. So this is a typical structure of our heart. We know it is divided into 4 chambers: the right atrium, the right ventricles, and here we have the left atrium and the right left ventricle. So as you can see, how our heart works independently. What you see here is what we call the energy center of the heart. We have cells here that multiply throughout lifespan of an individual. So with the multiplication and regeneration of cells here constantly, energy is formed. So that's what we call it the energy center of the heart. So when energy is formed, what happens is that impulses are formed. Impulses of different potentials. So you can see the arrows here. That is how the impulses are sprayed to the right atrium, left atrium, and then it goes down. This is what we call the conductive path. The path through which impulses are sprayed to the right ventricle and to the left ventricle. Today, what we're going to observe in our experiment is how, when we isolate the upper part here from the lower part, you will observe that the lower part the heart will not be beating, the lower part here. And at the upper part here, you will see the heartbeat. Why? Because when we isolate by tying using the ligature or using the thread, yeah, you will see that the impulse will not pass through this path because it's been isolated. This is an indication that our heartbeat, the origin of our heartbeat, is from the sinus. We call it the sinus node. So that is, my dear students, we are going to do our practical work now to show you physically how everything works. Thank you very much. To start our work, we have to use special powder, okay, to rub it in our hands. So this is what we call it, the special powder. In Russian language, we call it tal. Okay? To make, why do we use the powder? To make it easier for us to use our gloves. So you can see these are our gloves that we're going to use for our work. You can see I have worn my laboratory gloves, okay? And we're going to start our work. Just have a look. Now we're going to bring out our beautiful frog, and it's going to say hello to you all, students. Just have a look. Look at our beautiful frog here. Can you see it? Yeah, it's saying good afternoon to you all. I'm going to show you how my heart beats. Okay. Dear students, this is our beautiful frog. Yes, we're going to work with it. Okay. You remember our system or standard of immobilizing any kind of animal. Like the frogs, we have to paralyze the central nervous system. Instead of using the normal chloroform that is used at least to make animals sleep, or during operations, even on humans, we use chloroform, yeah? Certain degrees of anesthesia. But here, we're going to paralyze the central nervous system to make us, that is to immobilize the frog, to enable us carry out our work. So this is how we do it. So we open the mouth. Doesn't want to. Okay. And we take it to the end and fix it, and then cut off the head. You can see it shaking already, yeah? You can see it because we have touched the central nervous system. You can see it already. Now we have exposed the central nervous system. So we take our pin, so that you can see. So you can see the whitish this, part here. This is the central nervous system. Okay? So I'm going to, you can see, can you see it? Now we're paralyzing the central nervous system. Okay, that's it, that's it. You see, it doesn't want to die, but it is still alive. We're just paralyzing it. The heart is still beating. There's it. Can you see it now? This is what happens to people when they have accidents, and the accident kind of touches their central nervous system. You can see people with paralyzed legs. If you see them on the street, this is what happens to their central nervous system. You see, that's why we try as much as possible to kind of take care of our back, because at our spinal cord is situated the central nervous system. So it is now completely paralyzed, finally paralyzed. Now we have to fix it. We have to fix our frog. It's already immobilized. We have our small pins here. We just kind of fix it to avoid any accidental movement in case. Dear students, now we have fixed our frog. We are ready to perform what we call heart, to open the heart, so that we can carry out our work. So this is how we do it, okay? This is the process of opening the heart. Take off the skin. And then now we have to expose the heart. Now this is how surgeons carry out their work. So now we're dealing with just small animals here. Later we're going to work with much bigger animals. But we start from, our practice starts from much smaller animals. We're exposing the heart from the pericard. As we did during ECG, electrocardiogram. But today, we are going to separate, not spread, I'm sorry. Okay? To separate the right atrium, left atrium from the right ventricle and the right atrium, right ventricle. Now we have exposed our heart again. And we're going to remove it. Sorry. We're going to remove it like this. Like this. So, can you see how the heart is beating? To show you that the heart works independently, we are going to remove it from the thoracic cavity. We are going to use what we call the ligature thread. To kind of allow us to take a grip. So we take one end. We take one end of the thread. That's how we do it. You can see how the heart is beating here. This is what we call heartbeat. So we're going to fix our thread or ligature at the side of where we have the pulmonary artery and the pulmonary vein. Have a look at it. So you can see the heart is now beating, still beating, but slower. We have to add some amount of adrenaline to make it function. Okay, this is how we do. We add some. So we have added some quantity of adrenaline. Maybe it's not enough.
Maybe it's right.
Yeah.
It's
And then we do some little bit of what we call massage of the heart to make it so you can see we have added some adrenaline and the heart has resumed or restored its systole, normal systoles, and diastoles. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take out the heart and try to fix our thread between the upper part and the lower part. That is the atria, and between the atria and the ventricles. Left and right, left and right. So this is how we're going to do. While the heart still beats, and we're going to take it out. From the chest cavity. We're going to isolate the heart. We have isolated the heart. You can see the upper part is darker and the lower part is lighter. So in between, we're going to tie our thread here and isolate the upper part from the lower part to show you that the energy or impulse produced in the heart is at the upper part of the right atrium. That's the energy center, where cells are constantly regenerated. Students, you can see the heart is still beating. Okay? So now you can see the darker upper part and the lighter upper part. So we're going to tie the thread here in between, and you will see that the lower part will stop beating. All right? This is to show you that the impulse is formed here, where the cells, as I've already said, are constantly being regenerated. Okay, dear students, you see we have divided into two, the lower part and the upper part. Okay, as you can see, it's still beating, you know, so we just have to add more adrenaline for you to see it much better. You can see it is still beating. The upper part is beating. You can see it. It's moving. It's beating. And just check the lower part. It's not beating. This is to show you that this is where energy impulse is being formed constantly until the whole organism dies off. Before then, cells here are being multiplied and regenerated all throughout the life of the organism. This is what happens to our heart. So this is a form of, to tell you how heart transplant is done, how hearts are removed from one organism to another and even taken to other continents, countries, and so on and so forth. You can see it is still beating. If we add adrenaline now, you will see how it is beating much, much better. I will show you now. You see the heartbeat is being restored because we have added some adrenaline. You can see it. Now it's regaining its heartbeat. That's it, dear students. This is to show you how our hearts work. Our heart works automatically. So thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice time. I hope you have got some little knowledge about how our hearts work. Individual hearts work automatically, even when it is taken out of the body. Okay, because the source of its energy is inside the heart itself. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.